La Bombonera, Buenos Aires. The greatest player on the planet steps onto the pitch, and the home crowd does something almost unthinkable. They boo him. Not the away team, the same man tearing Spanish defenses apart every single week for Barcelona was, for years, treated like a stranger in his own country. But here is the twist nobody wanted to admit. This wasn't a talent problem. It was a system problem. And it took Argentina over a decade to figure that out. Let's rewind. By his early 20s, Messi was already reshaping how Barcelona played, dropping deep, drifting wide, combining with Xavi and Iniesta in triangles that felt telepathic. Under Pep Guardiola, the entire team moved to feed him space. That is the key word, space. Barcelona built a machine around one man's instincts. Argentina did the opposite. Coach after coach tried to slot Messi into rigid, direct, physical systems built for a different era of Argentine football. Long balls, wide crosses, structured roles with little freedom to roam. The numbers tell the story. In Barcelona colors during his prime years, Messi was regularly completing over 90% of his passes in advanced areas, constantly combining with runners ahead of him. In an Argentina shirt during the same stretch, he was often isolated up front or shunted out wide, receiving the ball in positions where his signature move, the drop into the half space between midfield and attack, simply wasn't available to him. You cannot use a key if there is no lock built for it. Then there is the psychological weight most fans never talk about. Diego Maradona himself, the man Messi was constantly measured against, publicly questioned early in Messi's career whether he had the same leadership fire, famously suggesting he needed to shout more, to lead more vocally. Imagine carrying that comparison onto the pitch every single match, knowing the entire nation is measuring you against a footballing god. So let's put this on the tactical board. Picture the Argentina shape in the early 2010s. Two banks of players sitting deep, a lone striker starved of service, and Messi pushed out to the right wing, forced to beat defenders one-on-one with no passing triangle around him. Compare that to Barcelona's shape, where he floated centrally, drawing 3 or 4 defenders toward him while Xavi and Iniesta exploited the space he vacated. Same player, completely different geometry. And geometry, in football, decides everything. We saw the cost of this mismatch play out in real tournaments. At the 2011 Copa America, held on home soil with the pressure at its absolute peak, Argentina were eliminated in the quarterfinals by Uruguay on penalties. And Messi failed to score a single goal across the entire tournament, not because his ability had vanished, but because the service around him had collapsed. 3 years later, at the 2014 World Cup final, Argentina lost 1-0 to Germany in extra time. Messi still won the tournament's Golden Ball award, a decision that sparked huge debate, with critics arguing individual brilliance in a broken system does not equal team success, and that the award almost highlighted the very isolation we are talking about. Here is the twist most casual fans miss entirely. Messi wasn't underperforming for Argentina. Argentina was underutilizing Messi. The problem was never his engine, his vision, or his hunger. The problem was that nobody had built him a role that matched what made him devastating at club level. A free 8, floating between the lines. Not a traditional winger stuck on the touchline waiting for service that never arrived. The breaking point came in June of 2016. After missing his own penalty in the Copa America Centenario final defeat to Chile, Messi walked away and announced his retirement from the national team altogether, telling reporters at the time that the national team simply wasn't for him. Think about that for a moment. The greatest attacking talent of his generation, driven to walk away, not because he lost his love for the game, but because the system around him kept setting him up to fail. But here is where the story flips. And it is the reason this whole early struggle matters so much. When Lionel Scaloni eventually took charge, he did something startlingly simple. He stopped trying to force Messi into a rigid structure, and instead built the entire Argentina identity around the same principles Barcelona once used. Compact possession, runners ahead of him, defensive solidity behind him, and freedom for Messi to drop deep and dictate. The result was not a coincidence. Argentina became world champions in Qatar in 2022, and Messi finally lifted the one trophy that had eluded him his entire career. So when people ask why Messi failed for Argentina early in his career, The honest answer is that he never actually failed. A generational talent was placed inside a system that fought against his instincts instead of amplifying them. It took over a decade, painful losses, a retirement announcement, and a change in footballing philosophy for Argentina to finally build the machine that Barcelona had figured out years earlier. The genius was always there. Argentina just had to learn how to use it. The next time you watch old highlights of a young, frustrated Messi in Albiceleste blue and white, remember, you're not watching a player in decline. You're watching a puzzle piece waiting for the right picture to be built around it. And once it finally was, he became a world champion. What does that tell you about talent, systems, and patience? Let us know what you think in the comments below.